Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a 1-year review of ownership on the 2022 Kona Cindercone.
Dirty Hold on. Not Dirty
It's been 1 full year now since my son has owned this bike. And the weather is absolutely gorgeous today. It's October 11th and it's 23 degrees out here in Niagara. So I thought, I'll open up the garage door today and I'll put Owen's bike in the stand and we'll do a quick review over it. Let's just go over the upgrades he's done on this bike, which aren't many. And then we'll talk about the bike and how great it is and how much he loves it. Owen's not in this video because Owen doesn't like talking about this kind of stuff. He just likes to ride it and he knows what he likes and he loves this bike and he loves riding the trails, and that's just him. So me, on the other hand, I love what he loves with the bikes and the trails, and I love riding. I also love to talk about bikes, talk about gear and all that stuff. So let's start up with the handlebars. The grips on the handlebars are the Race Face Get-A grips, 33 millimeter diameter. And he has had those on this bike almost a year as well. I say 10 months. And yeah, he loves those grips. They're fantastic. And I've got them on my bike now and I can vouch for that as well. So another upgrade he's done on this bike are the pedals. They're PNW, and again, he loves them. This is his own upgrades, and pick the color, and yeah, the PNW pedals, you can't really go wrong. And the big upgrade he did on the bike is a PNW components dropper post. So this bike did not come stock with a dropper post, so it's kind of a necessity now, really, when you ride trails. The PNW Ridge dropper post, it's got 125 millimeters of travel, which is more than enough for him. And he absolutely loves it, and he knows exactly how to use a dropper post and when to use a dropper post now. So it's great to see him getting a ton of use out of that. Other than that, the bike sits stock. So the Shimano MT201 brakes are perfect for him, at least for now. We are getting to the point though where he's going to need probably a little bit better of a brake. The brake rotors are 180 in the front and 160 in the back. They're resin pads and resin pad only rotors. They are Shimano rotors though. Now Shimano brakes came on this bike because of the part supply shortage when we bought this bike last year. This bike is actually supposed to have Tektro 275. 1x11 Shimano drivetrain. So you got Dior everything. The back derailleur is a Dior 11-speed with a clutch. And that's, again, all stock. The cranks are stock. The bottom bracket is a square taper. That's stock. The fork is a 100 millimeter travel RockShox Judy Silver TK Solo Air. That's a mouthful. He is pretty much using about 95% of his travel. So that fork he will likely grow out of. I also know though that you can take the Judys and add another 20 mil, but that'll likely be next year. We'll do that. So we'll make it a 120 mil fork, but because he is, like I say, using most of his travel, his progression on this bike has been tenfold. It's unreal to watch him progress. Like I said, he loves this bike. He said to me the other day that he wants to keep this bike and just upgrade components as needed, which is, you know, it's great. It's like a little dirt jumper frame. It is aluminum, of course, and he just suits the bike. It's unreal. Like I say, he's 11 years old and he's just over 5 feet. This is a small frame with 27.5-inch wheels. He's very comfortable on the bike. He's jumping it, he's taking it off drops now, and he's getting very confident with it, and he's progressing very quickly. Tires are stock. These are Maxxis Forecasters. They are 2.35s. And I will say that these tires for our terrain that we ride are fantastic. These tires are really good in the wet. He hardly ever slips with these tires. So amazing tires. They came stock. They still got a ton of life left in them. This did not come stock tubeless setup. It is still not set up tubeless. We are running tubes in this bike, but he wants it that way. He wants to run tubes, which is great, because I'm still not sold on the tubeless setup thing yet. Maybe one day. I don't know, because you still have to carry a tube. Well, you don't have to, but on long rides, I would probably carry a tube. And then you got to get into CO2 canisters and trail side pumps that are have the separate air volume chamber, and so you can get a good seat on the bead. And then you got to carry the bacon strips for the puncture repair. Yeah, so you're still pretty much carrying the same things. The only thing tubeless would allow him is to run his pressures a bit lower. But in saying that, he runs 22 in the front, and he runs 26 in the back, and there's never any issues for punctures. He's also 95 pounds, so that makes a huge difference too. 95 pounds is not a lot of weight bearing down on these tires, so he can get away with that with running tubes. He can get away with lower pressures with tubes, so bear that in mind. And then, like I say, the Dior drivetrain is just bomb-proof, fail-safe. Like it never fails. I love Dior. I love Dior stuff. You can't go wrong. Yeah, it might weigh a little more. Well, it does weigh a little bit more, like SLX or XT stuff, but it doesn't matter at this point. You know what? Weight to us does not matter. He raced this bike. This bike is not the lightest bike, that's for sure. But he raced this bike this fall, and he had an absolute blast. He doesn't give 2 cents about weight. Maybe one day he will if he gets into racing XC, or we don't know which way he's going to go yet, but that's up to him. But yeah, I mean, this bike is an extremely good upgradable platform. The price point on this bike is, I think it's gone up $100, so it's $14.99 here in Canada, and that's without a dropper. So it's a pretty darn good bang for the buck bike. One thing I noticed about this bike, it is silent. It is so dialed. You cannot hear. Maybe we got a good one in the batch. I don't know. But what I do know is there are no internal cable sleeves inside the frame on a bike at this price point. There is no internal sleeves in this bike. When we routed the internal cables for the dropper post, there's no sleeve in there. So going down the trail, and you don't hear this bike. It's insane. It is so dialed. There's no internal frame cable rattle at all.
Nice.
Unlike my bike. it just rattles away and drives me nuts. So yeah, I will say that about this bike. It's so quiet, so quiet. He is riding it hard, and he is progressing so fast, and it's so much fun to watch him progress and have fun on this bike. Yeah, just an overall unreal bike, unbeatable value. What more can I say? He's still got the small sticker on here from a year ago. He won't take it off. But yeah, he loves his bike. I can highly recommend this bike for anyone that wants to get into the sport of mountain biking. This is more cross-country geo, especially with a 100 fork on the front. It does have the, it's standard hub spacing. Shimano hubs come on it, so they're a little bit better than the formula stuff that you see on a lot of budget entry-level hardtail mountain bikes. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So if you're thinking about the Kona Cindercone, it's a great bike. I wouldn't hesitate if that's what you know you're going to get into. If you're just getting into the sport, even if you're like an intermediate rider that's you know, just wants a hardtail in the fleet and more on the XC side, this is a great bike. Highly recommend it. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy the content. If so, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.